International Institute for Education and Planning under UNESCO, privatization has been defined as the transfer of assets, activities, and responsibilities from public or central government institutes to private institutes or agencies. As we know, one of the most prestigious institutes, IIT Bombay, which has ranked 172 in the QR ranking 2022, has just 1,360 UG seats. Similar is the case in other IITs too. With more than 50% of India's population below 25 years of age, will these limited number of seats be able to address to the growing needs of an aspiring youth in our country? Moreover, I would like to also say that private institutes will always be bound to provide the best facilities, faculties, and opportunities because their survival is totally based on their performance. Perform or perish is their policy, compared to government institutes where they provide job security to their faculties and they will have no necessity to bring out their total potential. I would also like to say that private institutes have stemmed up.
And your time up, Sri Lakshmi.
The fact remains in different statistics that 70% of our population would not be able to afford the education provided post-privatization of the education system. It is the duty of the government of any state to provide the needed funds into the education system, and this responsibility shouldn't be transferred to the hands of private individuals. Education shouldn't be a business. Under privatization, the importance of imparting knowledge to the students takes a back seat to the monetary gains that can be gained by every institution in the nexus of private education. In the current scenario of our country, higher education is often neglected due to an ignorant attitude towards it. It is only due to acts such as right to education that enrollment rates, even in public schools, have increased. Under privatization, the dropout rates will multiply drastically due to the expenses associated with it. Social evils, economic problems such as unemployment, poverty, will not only continue to persist, but will increase rapidly. This will ultimately lead...
Yeah, time up.
In the 21st century, where the markets, technology, and everything is changing from day to day, private institutes, which are autonomous bodies, will have all the freedom to change their syllabus, their curriculum, their exam pattern according to the need of the hour. And they'll be able to address the needs of the market, etc., which is very necessary to create a skilled workforce that will cater to the needs of a developing country like India.
I actually think in a society like ours, where at least 40% of the population is under the new poverty line, what we need isn't a wider variety of courses. What we need is more access to these institutes. It is a fact that privatization of the education sector will ultimately cut off a large population of our country from access to higher education.
My dear friend, I would like to say that merit is what that matters. When you said the people below the poverty line are not being given education, we should notice that government institutes like IIT still have 10 lakh rupees fees to complete their B.Tech courses. Also, I'd like to state that 4.2% of GDP has been expended by our country in education in 2022. In compared to developed countries like UK, it is expending 5.53%. If our country is not, the government is not able to cater to the needs of the young growing population, why can't we give the private sector an opportunity?
Over to you. Done.
The essence of entrepreneurship is profit-making first and quality second. When we are discussing about the current situation of education in our country, we need to yes, I do agree that the government needs to fund the educational sector more, and that is exactly the point that I'm raising. Instead of pointing towards the rising trend of privatization, the government should instead focus on allocating funds, but this should be strictly regulated by the government and not in the hands of private individuals.
My dear friend, I would like to list the QR ranking here also. Out of the total institutes that have come up in the QR ranking, 17th rank has been held by a private institute. You give equal funding to government and private institutes, they come up still. OP Jindal University has come up. Then we have BITS Pilani. We have many other institutes which are in the top row. Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham are all examples. So I like to state that funding is not a matter. If you fund it, if they can...
Over to you. Point is clear.
Rather than looking at arbitrary lists, I feel like we should look at the patterns of enrollment. And it's not up for debate that the top-tier engineering institutions, the top-tier medical institutions, the top-tier law institutions are all government institutions. These are the ones that are sought after the most. And this is due to a reason that these offer the best quality education. Whether it be engineering colleges, these government colleges tend to get the highest number of projects. Whether it be medical colleges, these colleges have the highest access to a larger patient flow. And this ultimately leads to a better quality of education.
I would also like to add that governments, what they need to focus is to bring out a level playing field, like set norms and regulations to check out how the private institutes are working, to check that no much economic makeup is made out of this. And also I would like to state that successfully revolutionized automobile sectors, management sectors, are all tourism, hospitality, all are examples that privatization can actually increase the quality. Better quality is what is required in the market.
Okay, done.
See, even with the growing trends of globalization, such as in the machinery industry or the telecommunication industry, certain industries such as healthcare, education, railway have resisted this change to an extent because these sectors have been identified as sectors that require government regulation. And these are because these are essential sectors. When we let private players into this industry, it changes the dynamic of these sectors, and it will ultimately lead to a higher disparity between the upper class and the lower middle class and the lower classes, which is not what our society needs.
Please.
I would like to address my friend, can you always promise that students who graduate from government institutes are the only ones who succeed in their life? Sanjay Malhotra, who has been the co-founder of SanDisk, Narayan Reddy, who has founded Swiggy, are all people who have graduated from BITS Pilani. They have graduated from private institutes. What we need is, we have a large population. If government is not deliberately
And
able...
with that note, your time up.